Next, I will describe how to use the brakes and the parking brakes. To apply the brakes while walking with the UpWalker Indoor Lite, pull both brake handles evenly toward you to slow down your UpWalker. To set the parking brakes prior to sitting down, use one hand holding onto the hand grip and taking your other hand to push the brake handle forward until you hear a clicking, which acknowledges the locked position of your parking brake. Once both parking brakes are on, you may sit down in the unit. Next, I'm going to discuss the adjustment of brakes depending on whether they are too loose or too tight. Using your fingers, reach down towards the rear wheel, grasping the gray knob. You will note that the gray knob is spring activated and you need to push it towards the wheel in order to activate the nut retention. To tighten the brakes if too loose, locating this gray screw knob under the frame near the rear wheel, press the knob downwards and turn to the left counterclockwise a half rotation at a time until desired tightness is reached. To loosen the brakes if too tight, press the gray knob downwards and turn to the right clockwise until desired tightness is reached. Always ensure the parking brake is disengaged when adjusting the brakes. If after making adjustments using the gray knob back at the back wheel, you still have not achieved the desired firmness of the brakes, then you will go up to the brake handle where you will notice two nuts underneath the brake handle. Again, if this adjustment using the gray knobs has not achieved the desired braking strength, use the adjustment option on the brake handle end of the brake cable. If the brakes are too loose, use your fingers or pliers or a wrench to turn the barrel adjuster nut counterclockwise a half rotation at a time until the brake functions as expected. Then turn the larger locking nut clockwise using your fingers or pliers until it presses tightly against the brake housing to prevent the barrel adjuster nut from loosening up. If the brakes are too tight, use your fingers or pliers to turn the larger locking nut counterclockwise until loosened. Then use fingers or pliers to turn the barrel adjuster nut clockwise half a turn at a time until the brake functions as expected. Then turn the locking nut clockwise until it presses tightly against the housing of the brake handle to prevent the barrel adjuster nut from loosening. If you cannot achieve the desired adjustment by means described for brake adjustments, you may have to go back down to the rear wheel, whereby you will use an Allen wrench to reset the brake cable using the brake cable set screw and nut attached to the brake cable near the rear wheel. First, loosen the set screw by turning it counterclockwise with an Allen wrench. Once loosened, pull the brake cable through the nut to tighten the brake, or push the brake cable into the nut to loosen the brake. After achieving the desired cable length, tighten the set screw by turning the Allen wrench nut clockwise. You may have to repeat the adjustment a few times to get the right gap between the brake pad and the rear wheel by visual sight.